Well, this is exciting.
Hello. All right, there you go. Can you see us or hear us, I should say?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, especially live from your race shop. I feel like that makes this like
Yeah.
super official.
Well, that's because I just happened to land here 2 hours ago, and I got a lot of work to do. Maybe go on a college trip.
Well, well, we appreciate you spending time with us. We really appreciate it. I know sometimes those travel days can be long ones for sure. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And Ryan, before we jump to questions from those here that have joined us, just a little bit about obviously more of a kind of a home field race, I should say, for you this weekend in the modified series, but also just you've had some truck races you ran recently, some Xfinity series races as well. If you don't mind, just to tell us a little bit about how your season's going and kind of what you're most looking forward to this weekend, getting back in the modifieds.
Well, yeah, I have a deep passion when it comes to modified racing and in my Northeast roots. So the New Hampshire Motor Speedway and just everything that's surrounded the modifieds up there, it's special to a lot of us. And open wheel modifieds, and they call them the ground pounders. It's a really big thing up in this region of the country. So I'm looking forward to getting out there. Not only because we won the last race when we were there, it was kind of one of those races that I had won at pretty much all the tour tracks that we had gone to, except for New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So to be able to finally do that last year was really awesome. And but this year, outside of the national series, I've started my own team with I own a super late model, a couple modifieds, and whenever I have time, I want to go race them. So this was a race that I had circled on the calendar for this year, and without sponsors and people that help out, it wouldn't be possible. So Hunt Brothers and Call Before You Dig are local sponsors, or Call Before You Dig is a local sponsor up here in the Northeast. And yeah, so that's exciting. But as far as the national series, with the truck races that we've done thus far, and the Xfinity and the Cup race, it's been a great year so far. And having the ability to compete for wins and winning Nashville, it's been a lot of fun.
All right. We'll now go to questions. If you have a question for Ryan, go ahead and raise your hand. We're going to get to as many questions as we can. And to kick us off, we're going to go to Marty. Go ahead, Marty, with your question.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, man, long time no see. Hope you're doing well. So I'm curious with the modified. I know this is a different team, but at the same time, I know you're always racing for Ed Partridge after he passed away back in September last year. What's that mean, just to be racing for him whenever you take not just a modified, but any car out on the track?
Yeah, so my relationship with Eddie, for those that don't know, he was one of the people that helped fund that opportunity when I went to race some of those races at Joe Gibbs Racing and help make it possible. So he's given me a lot of opportunities, not only at a national level, but also he gave me a job when I left Johnny Davis Motorsports in 2016 and moved back to Connecticut, and gave me opportunities. He created opportunities for me to succeed and prove my worth. And so for that, I'm forever grateful. And yeah, I mean, it was an unfortunate way to lose a friend, but knowing that we won our last race together was really awesome, and it meant a lot to me. But it's still definitely different whenever I go racing, at a regional level or a weekly level. It's different not having them there. But like you said, we race with him in our hearts, and hopefully we can go back and repeat this weekend.
Moving on to the national side of things, I know you're still a reserve driver for Stuart Haas Racing, and the 10 is open for next season. I know you're out here trying to race for wins, like you said, back at Charlotte post race. How big was that win back in Nashville, as well, trying to get one step closer to getting a full-time Cup ride perhaps next year?
I mean, as far as my career goes, it's the situations that I've always been in. You have to win to create opportunities moving forward. So I definitely feel like that helped, and I'm sure if I had $1 for every time I've been asked about that car, I could probably fund my own race team. So, it's definitely, it's exciting to see what the future has in store, and we'll see.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Good luck with the mod this weekend.
Okay, our next question is going to go to Mitchell Brewer. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Ryan,
Hi. Excuse me.
Ryan, after competing in Cup for full time for so many years, how big of an adjustment has been this year to run a more part-time schedule across all 3 series?
I've had this conversation with a few different people. It's just a different way of going about it. It's not really something new to me, just because prior to my 3 full-time Cup seasons, I was part-time for those 2 years with Joe Gibbs Racing, and really part-time. It was a few races sprinkled here and there in 2014 and 15 and 13. So I have no problem. In the past, I haven't had a problem bouncing around or doing things here and there, or adapting to different race cars or working with different people. It's given me an experience for sure, and kind of what I've learned along the way is the personalities that I certainly gel really well with, and what I need to be successful moving forward.
Okay, our next question will go to Emmanuel. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Hi, Ryan. My question is, what balance do you make of the season 2022, and what expectations do you have for the future in NASCAR?
Yeah, so 2022, I feel like we've had a few opportunities to win a few more races, and being part-time, you have to take advantage of those, and you can't let them slip away. I feel like Charlotte, we had an opportunity to close it out with that late race restart, and Texas, I felt like we had a really fast truck and gave ourselves an opportunity. So there's some things when you go to bed at night you wish could have played out a little different, but knowing we went to Nashville and won there that last time out certainly helps that on how that goes, and moving forward, whatever the future has in store, it's going to be what it's going to be. That's for sure. I feel like I do everything that I can do anyways, and try to maximize your days, and bring the truck home, in one piece, and at the same time competing for a win, not just being out there. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully we'll know sooner than later.
Thanks, Ryan. Very good luck.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
All right, our next question is going to go to Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan.
Hey, Ryan, appreciate the time. I'm curious what recent conversations you've had with SHR about potential opportunities in Cup next year.
We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Follow. Do you think you'll be full-time in Cup next year?
I think I think you guys, a lot of people in the media know that it takes a lot of moving parts and pieces to come together, and I think hopefully all those things fall into place.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, our next question will go to Mike Hembree. Go ahead, Mike.
Ron, you've had a chance to see the new Cup car kind of from a different perspective, long range view or whatever this year. What's your impression of how it's done so far?
I definitely think the next gen car is shaking things up. By all means of how you go about it, how teams go about working on them. I think I read something earlier about what Rodney was talking about, just the difference in creativity of how you would go about coming up with different parts or pieces to make the car do different things, or guys like Ray Everham back in the day and of that era of how they hung bodies, and it's changed. It's just a totally different dynamic of how teams have to attack this race car. very similar to, I would say, what guys do with super late models or modified, where you buy from a manufacturer. The only difference is there's only one manufacturer for these next gens. But from a driver standpoint, it's come down to, you got to work with your team. You got to do the best you can to figure out how to get your car to drive better than the other teams as quick as possible, and then stay ahead of that curve. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, but I think the racing, from a fan standpoint, I think it's been phenomenal for sure. Watching it on TV, it certainly isn't fun watching it rather than being out there, but it's created a lot of passing sometimes on restarts, but at the same time, there can be some other difficulties that, from a driver standpoint, can be frustrating. So we'll have to see what the future is ahead. I'm somebody who's always been, give me 1,100 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower, and let me have to control the throttle pedal rather than feel like you're somebody who's, in the gas the entire time. But hopefully we can continue working on some of the packages in the future and trying to give some more horsepower so some of these drivers can overcome some of the aero sensitivities that this car can give us. But yeah.
There's been a lot of talk this year about overly aggressive driving, especially with Ross Chastain's case. What's your view on that from what you've seen, again, sort of from a long distance?
I don't know. I'm not Ross, and I'm not any of the drivers that have been in those situations with Ross. What I will say is I've been teammates with Ross in the past, and I feel like whenever I race with him, he races me respectfully. So I have no problems with Ross Chastain. And I admire in the sense of, we both have been on the underfunded side of the garage, and sometimes trying to get opportunities aren't easy. So you feel like you have to go out and you have to perform, and our window of doing those things, or our tasks, we have to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if we don't, it's a fail. So, I certainly see pressure, if there is any, on that front, but we're here to race. That's our job. That's all I really have to say about it.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time, especially knowing that you have a lot of work ahead of you. So we appreciate you spending a little bit of it with us, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend in New Hampshire.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.